Hey, beautiful souls. So, before we dive in, I want to pause for a minute and ask you to reflect, look around, and find out, is this the life you're living, or is it a version of yourself that's it's somebody else's life? And you're not even really understanding that process. So, I want you to think about it. Is it something that the version of your life should look like? So let me dive in. So if you feel this hit your chest and you're like, ooh, yes, she's talking to me, this show's for you. We're going to dive in, hear all the things about what you may be masking, what you may be telling yourselves, those lies that come into our head, and how we get to break through those. Sound good? So you're in for a good show today. If you're joining me live, definitely just let me know you're joining me live. Say, hey, I'm here. Drop a hello in the chat. I love to show you all love and bring up your name and things like that. And I'm grateful for you being here. So let's dive in. But first, let me go ahead and show you who I am, just in case you're new to the show. What? You're not in it alone, because there's tons of women out there that are struggling just like you, who want to be there to support you.
Francine Ayala.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of You Are Meant for More. I am your host, Francine Ayala, and I'm grateful and honored that you're here. So whether you've been watching the show for, oh my goodness, this year we're celebrating 1 year. I should have actually had a celebration anniversary now that I think about it. But thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And if you're new to the show, again, I'm honored that you're here. And we're just going to dive into tons of opportunity. So as you know, I take notes and I make sure that I put in my words and my ability to help transform. So you're going to see me go back and forth to my notes to make sure I'm talking about all the things that I really want to gauge in this episode. So I wanted to ask you, let's get real about transformation, your purpose, and stepping into the life your soul has been craving. So I was talking to a client last week, actually, and she said something that just stopped me in my tracks. She said, Francine, I'm 42 years old, and I just realized that I don't even know who I am anymore. I wanted to make sure I got all her words. She's like, I've been so busy being that what everyone else needed me to be that I lost myself completely. And honey, if this doesn't break your heart and fire you up at the same time, I don't know what will. So today we're diving deep into this messy, beautiful journey of discovering your authentic self beneath all those layers of shoulds and expectations. This isn't some fluffy self-help nonsense. This is about getting real with who you are when nobody's watching. Because that's always scary, right? No, it's scary when people are watching and you're like, who should I become? What version of me do I need to show up today? And that's truly not who you're meant to be. So we are going to uncover that mask that we wear. So any of you have a mask that you put on every day and you're showing up as the version of what you think you're supposed to look like. I did it for years. So there's no judgment, in this show or opportunity to share and to reflect on where you are or where you've been and then where you're going. And like always, let me see if Facebook is going to allow this opportunity for me to share. So let me go ahead and make sure we are live over there and there's no technical issues because, we don't like that, right? All right, perfect. So here we are. It just won't let me share with everybody until the show's over. It's really weird. I don't know why Facebook does that, but we're live. We're good. All right. So let's go ahead and start. So let's start with some truth telling. Okay. So we all wear masks, every single one of us. And yes, before you start thinking, not me. Yeah. You. You too, love, because we all do it and I get it. We put this mask on where we wear it for years because we're thinking that we're supposed to be this perfect single mom of, that's exactly what I went through. And I've got it all together type of mask. Like, how many of you wear that? I got it all together and there's nothing that's bothering me. And we just put on this facade for people to see. But in actuality, we're screaming underneath, like, I need help or I can no longer do this. Believe me, been there, done that multiple times. The I don't need help from anyone mask. Oh my goodness. That was me for so many years. And it's exhausting, you guys. It is really exhausting. You don't need to put yourself through that. And then what those masks got me? Got me pretty much depleted, right? And very lonely. How many of you felt lonely in that process? So I completely disconnected from who I was. So a more vulnerable story is when I was driving for Uber and Lyft for 6 years, I had this mask of I'm just doing this temporarily while I figure things out. But the truth, I was terrified that maybe I wasn't meant for more. I really was, because I remember at the time, it was one of my business partners telling me that the only reason why I was holding on to this opportunity of rideshare was so that I didn't need steps to step out of my comfort zone to get me to the next level. That was like a really harsh reality. And it was true, because I was holding on to this, like, what if I'm not meant for something bigger? I still have this to fall back on. And that's one thing that they literally brought to the forefront, and a realization that I needed to understand that, hey, I'm holding on to something so I don't have to go to my next level. So many of us do that because our brain protects us and we don't even realize it's happening. But here's what I learned, and this is key. Your authentic self isn't hiding because she's broken. She's hiding because she's been told that she's not enough. Oh my goodness. Yes, I had to share that hard truth because so many years I held on to this story. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't worthy. Who would pay me? Who would believe in me? Who would follow me? Who would insert whatever type of comment, right? I felt like I wasn't good enough for people to even come out and do an event with, to even, pay for my coaching, to even host events with me. Like, I just didn't think I was capable of doing this, when so many women that attended the events told me otherwise. But even with them telling me, I still didn't believe it. She's like your inner child. She's been told to be smaller, quieter, and more less open to the audience out there. So how many times have you really masked that inner self, that inner child of who you were meant to be, who you wanted to excel to become? So right now, I want you to think about it. What mask are you wearing? Is it the I'm fine mask when you're falling apart inside? The I don't care about money mask when you're stressed out about bills? And I like this one. The I'm not ready the I'm not ready yet mask when your soul is screaming now. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Of course I did all three, but the most recent one was the I'm not ready. Or no, I'm so sorry. It was the, like, my back office, my CRM wasn't ready. Therefore, I couldn't show up and help my clients because my software wasn't ready. So what is it that you're telling yourself? I want you to really think about it. I want you to pause. If you need to pause this, if you're catching the replay, then pause it and reflect. Take a moment and sit with that. So let me see if any of you are joining me live. And again, I'm going through my notes. So thank you for being here. Yes. Okay, so we got Helm. It says, me, I deal with that sometimes. Yes. And then of course, stoicism mask. Okay, I see that. I see like people doing that. And it's just removing that mask to know that it's not showing up in your most authentic self. And so thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. I'm like, is that Will? I'm just curious. I love you for sharing, Will, but I wasn't sure if that was you for sharing. Okay. So the first step to becoming who you're meant to be is acknowledging who you've been pretending to be. So here we go. The lies that we tell ourselves. Now let's talk about the 3 biggest lies we tell ourselves about who we should be. And honey, these lies are pretty sneaky. They sound so reasonable, so responsible, and so safe. Like, how many times are we trying to play it safe out there? Yeah, I know. When it's scary, we don't want to move. We don't want to take action. Our nervous system will actually stop us from doing it. But when we know within our soul and our heart, we get to move forward with it. So don't be scared of it. Okay? All right. So lie number 1, let's reflect. I should want what successful people want. How many of you have done that? I should want what successful people want. Okay. Listen, just because someone else built a multi-million-dollar business doesn't mean you need to build a multi-million-dollar business. Just because your friend loves being a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean that that's your path. Your dreams are yours, not your mom's, not your partner's, not society's, yours. Oh, I say that because I'm like, not society's. And it literally throws me back to a reflection of, how many of you ever spoke out a dream and you were given like a roll of the eyes? Maybe you were in a classroom setting. Maybe you told a teacher, maybe you told a parent, and they laughed at you. They laughed at you. It happened to me actually probably, I want to say a couple years ago. And I'm all trying not to throw him under the bus, but it did happen to me, and it was my dad. He laughed at a dream that I had. And it was not necessarily like, I mean, of course, my dad didn't crap on my dreams. It was just the process of getting there and what I would receive having been successful at it, or, becoming successful at it. And he didn't believe me. And now granted, I don't, how do you say, allow him to, as far as like to reflect upon my feelings. I don't receive that type of energy, but it was a little disheartening because it's like, he's a parent, right? But it was only because he didn't know the industry. He didn't know the opportunity that online selling, online, connections make. He didn't understand that process because it's in a different generation than when he grew up. And I understand that. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, try not to throw my dad under the bus. I hope he doesn't watch this episode. I'm sure he's fine. But, again, now it's just things have been moving a lot more. And that was probably about 3-4 years ago. So things are moving a lot more rapidly. And, as I share more about, the process and things like that. And, he's very willing and, to receive the information, and, he supports me. And so he's just like, oh, okay. But again, back then it was something that he didn't really understand and support. So anyways, I just had to share that because, he grew up understanding that you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, and you work for the rest of your life in a good job. So if you all know, that's not the case nowadays, right? So, I understand, right? So me almost all the time. I'm sorry. Tell me exactly what that was a reference to. Sorry, I missed that part as I was sharing. I'm reflecting, but yes, please tell me what you were responding to over there. Okay, so your dreams are yours, like I mentioned. Now, I spent years thinking I should want to climb the corporate ladder. I was in banking for 17 years. So I thought I needed to climb this corporate ladder because that's what successful women did. But actually, that ladder was leaning against the wall that was wrong for me. My wall was empowerment, transformation, and helping women step into their power. Now, I know I've shared this on a previous episode, but again, if you're new, I mean, you're not going to go back and be like, what episode was this in? So I want to share. When I was in banking, there was a strong tug at me that was like, I don't want to be here. Like, I loved my colleagues. I loved, the opportunity to grow. But it just wasn't my calling. And I knew it wasn't. I dove into banking because I was a single mother and I needed to support, my son, and I needed to come up with a plan. And, banking was actually a really good opportunity. It gave me benefits. It gave me the income. I would work overtime. I really hustled as a single mom. And his dad was in the picture, and so forth. But when you're a single parent, you provide a lot of the support. Okay. So I remember telling my manager at the time, jokingly, to just fire me. Like, can you just fire me? I'm like, so that I can, sorry, I was like, I just went back to the comments, but I was like, can you just fire me? And so that I can find a job that I love. Like, I literally was just like, please. Now, granted, when you speak words out and when you're expecting some type of reaction or response, the universe will provide. So be aware of what you say. Be aware of what you want. Like, it goes vice versa. So I really wanted to get fired. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like nobody ever wants to be fired. Nobody. And believe me, when you go through it, it's very disheartening. It's very devastating. I remember feeling like, oh my God, I'm so defeated. But, I wanted to get out of there. I was like, and unfortunately, things happened, in the motions of it where eventually I did get let go. And so, I mean, I share that because I knew there was something bigger for me. And so did God. And so did my purpose. And so did this whole journey. And what you ask, you shall receive, right? So if you're persistent and you ask and you're intentional about things that you want in your life, you can make it happen. Okay, let's go back. You said people laughing at my dreams and goals. Yes, I know. Isn't that crazy? So it's like, but keep your dreams in the forefront. Show up, read them, watch them come to life, because they will. If you keep them in the forefront of what it is that you want to do, and if this is will, I believe it's will. So write it down, write down your goals. What is it that you want to accomplish? And then make it happen. And then he said, I deal with it every day, but I think so. I'm all looking over here. Okay, I deal with it every day, but I think so does everyone else too, in different ways. You deal with what every day? Dealing with the lack of, or the people laughing at your dreams, or what is it specifically that you're dealing with every day? Let me know, because yeah, that can be another conversation. All right, let me just make sure I close that out. All right, thank you for sharing. All right, so my dream and my purpose was for empowerment, transformation, and helping women step into their power, right? Line number 2, I should be further along by now. Oh my goodness. If I had $1 for every time I said this or thought this, and man, believe me when I say, when it's your time, it's your time. But I remember feeling so defeated at everyone who was successful around me. How are they doing it? I'm not. What's going on with them? And it's not me. Why are they successful and I'm not? There was a constant boom around me, and it was really tough. But guess what? There was still a space for me to figure out who I was, for me to let go of all these limiting beliefs and decisions about myself, that I was holding on to. So I needed to become the best version of myself. I needed to become who I am today in order for me to excel in the business that I'm creating. Because guess what? The woman I was last year is not going to be able to build a multi-million dollar business. But the woman I am today, she's positioning herself to do so. So I will continue to follow in that path because my goals and dreams are huge. They're big. So I want to encourage you to, whatever dream goal you have, to be intentional and to take action with it. And you have to constantly do it. And guess what? It may happen in 3 years for you. It may happen in 5. It may happen in 10. It may happen in 15. But it's all about getting to know who you are as a person. You're going to take off those, or you're going to rip off those masks. You're going to understand who you are, and you're going to continuously personal develop. You're going to continuously show up as the best version of yourself, and you're going to get sidetracked. I can tell you right now, you're going to get sidetracked. People are going to sidetrack you. Situations are going to sidetrack you. Your emotions are going to sidetrack you. Stay in alignment with where you're going. Stay focused on where you're headed, and it's going to start to all come together for you. But you have to stay focused, stay around the people who are doing what you want to do. Okay. So obviously I should be further along by now, but this one gets me fired up, of course, like I mentioned. Says who decided that there was some type of timeline you needed to follow? Who wrote the rule book that says you need to have it all figured out by 25, 35, and 45? Yeah. I mean, think about it. A lot of the successful people out there didn't become successful until after 45 years old. Some were 50. It just varies. You're not late. I mean, and if you did it in your 20s or your 30s, amazing. That's awesome. You have so much more to live and encourage so many others to do the same. So I didn't start my coaching business until I want to say, because I was about to be 40. So I want to say it was like 7 years ago. Actually, it was probably around 40. Yeah. So I didn't discover my true calling until I went through my own dark night of the soul, basically. I went through depression twice. So your timeline is your timeline. And like I said, we have to go through all the crap that we have sitting up here in order to get to the next level. So if you're frustrated, if you're like, this isn't happening for me yet, this isn't going the way I want it to go to, people keep coming down on me. Well, let me ask you this, and I want you to write it down. Grab a pen, grab a paper. Ready? Write it down. Grab your phone. Put it in your notes section. And I really want you to stay focused on this. Here we go. What about this situation is about me? Type it out on your phone or write it down in your journal. What about this situation is about me? Those are the most powerful words and sentence you can say to yourself, because I want you to reflect on it, and I want you to get a journal out, and I want you to write about it, and I want you to sit with it. I want you to pray about it. I want you to be in a space of silence. I want you to be in a space of meditation, whatever that looks like for you. I want you to be in a space of calmness and relaxation, and ask the question, what about me is about this situation? Because you can attract anything that is meant for you, anything that you set your soul and fire on, as long as you understand that it takes learning and growing from within to get you to that level of excellence. So when things happen in your life, people approach you a certain way. So I'll give you a quick example. A friend of mine, it was a while back, approached me a certain way, kind of in a negative manner. And it threw me off. Like, what? What is this all about? Like, nobody talks to me this way. Like, how could he even act this way? And I remember talking to my coach, and I asked her, why did this hurt me? Because what he said actually brought tears to my eyes. Now, granted, I know there's people out there that be like, who is he? I'll beat him, da da da. I'm okay. It was a process that I needed to go through. So my coach told me, because there's something about you that believes him. So when somebody attacks you a certain way and there's emotions and, all of these things are in turmoil, what about you believes that? Where in your neurology, where in your nervous system, your timeline, are you actually believing what's happening to you? So that's why I say, what about me is about this situation? And remember that you have the ability, you have the tools to answer these questions and to reflect on them and to write it out and understand it. And not a lot of coaches will share this with you, because when you start to learn how to dive into your own emotions and work on them and get them resolved, you no longer need to pay for a coach. But guess what? I'm going to give you all the value. I'm going to give you all of the tools that I can possibly give you, because so many other people will still work with me because they don't want to go through the process alone. And that's okay. That's why I coach. That's why I speak. I want to be able to support you where you're at and get you to your next level. All right, let's keep going. Okay, line number 3. I should be able to do this alone. I said that all the time. This is a lie that keeps us small, isolated, and struggling. Guess who just went through that about a year ago? We think asking for help means we're weak. We think needing support means we're failing. But here's the truth. Every single person who has ever achieved anything meaningful had help, had mentors, had coaches, had people who believed in them when they couldn't believe in themselves. Sound familiar? Your authentic self doesn't need to prove she can to do everything alone. She needs to be brave enough to ask for what she needs. So guess who's going to be getting phone calls, emails? I'm going to show up at your door. So when I need help, I am reaching out. No longer playing small, no longer staying isolated, no longer being lonely in this process of entrepreneurship. I am going for the gold. So I'm putting myself out there. It's going to be amazing. All right. So why your authentic self is hiding. Why does your authentic self go into hiding in the first place? Okay. It's not because she's weak. It's because she's been protecting you. Remember, we go back to the neurology. So here we go. Think about it. When you were little, what happened when you were too much, when you were too loud, too excited, too different? You probably got messages like, calm down, don't be so dramatic. I still get those messages. What will people think? So your authentic self learned to hide. She learned that being real wasn't safe, that being different meant being rejected. But here's what that little girl didn't know, and what you might not know yet. Those people who couldn't handle your authentic self, they weren't your people anyways. They really weren't. When I started talking about my depression and my ADHD, my struggles as a single mom, some people were uncomfortable. They wanted the inspirational success story version of me. But you know what happened when I got real? I found my people. The women who said, me too, the women who felt less alone because I was brave enough to be authentic. Your authentic self isn't hiding because she's not good enough. She's hiding because she's been waiting for permission to be seen. Haven't we all wanted that, just that acceptance to be seen? And yes, I remember that whole process. It was devastating because the people I thought were going to support me when I was at my lowest didn't. So it's all good. People are going to shed from your life, and that's okay. You get to bless and release. Okay, here were some practical steps. So enough theory, let's get practical, okay? How do you actually start living authentically? How do you coax? Have you ever just like messed up on a word, didn't know how to say it? I'm going to change it. How do you go about not hiding it? Step one, the values audit. Get honest about what you actually value, not what you think you should value. Grab a piece of paper. You have a piece of paper and journal. And then write down the top 5 things that matter to you most. Not what your family values, not what looks good on paper, but what makes your soul light up. Write down values. People write values all the time. How many of you actually write values and they actually change on you? Do they change on you? It happens. All right. For me, authenticity, transformation, freedom, connection, and impact. Everything I do gets filtered through these values. Step 2, the energy check. Start paying attention to what gives you energy versus what drains you. Your authentic self will always guide you toward the light, toward what lights you up and away from what dims your light. I used to think I was lazy because networking events exhausted me. They really did. I was like, I stopped being around all the people because I was like, I'm exhausted. That's too much energy. Turns out, obviously, I wasn't lazy. I'm just not meant to work a room. I'm not meant to talk to everyone, and neither are you. I'm meant to go deep with people, to have real conversations that matter. Once I honored that, everything changed. And I had this conversation earlier with my mom. That's why I had to add it, because it's so good. So step 3, the fear inventory. What are you afraid will happen if you show up authentically? Write it down, all of it. The messy, scary what if thoughts. Then ask yourself, are these fears based on facts or stories you've been telling yourself? Most of the time, they're actually just stories. Step 4, start small, but start. You don't have to blow up your whole life overnight. Start with small acts of authenticity. Say no to something that doesn't align with you. Share an opinion that's actually yours. Wear something that makes you feel good, not what you think others want to see. Oh my goodness, that was so great when I started wearing like my comfortable clothes. Step 5, find your tribe. Surround yourself with the people who celebrate your authentic self, not just tolerate it. This means some relationships will change, remember, and that's okay. You're not meant to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. And then, of course, handling the pushback, because it's going to happen. I already know. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, about what happens when you stop people pleasing and you start living authentically. Some people are going to have opinions. Some people are going to be uncomfortable. Some people might even try to pull you back into your old patterns, because guess what? You're an emotional being and you're going to want to spiral out of control. And it happens. I get it. So, but guess what? That's not your problem. Not yours. That's theirs. When I stopped trying to be the perfect version of myself and everyone was comfortable with, I lost some relationships, but I gained something so much more valuable. I gained myself. And guess what? Entrepreneurship was very lonely by myself. But I found my tribe of women that really wanted to support me no matter what. And so here's your mantra. For when the pushback comes, other people's comfort is not my responsibility. My authenticity is. So other people's comfort is not my responsibility. My authenticity is. You're not responsible for managing other people's emotions about your growth. You are not responsible for staying small so others feel big. Your job is to be who you're meant to be, period. And of course, I want to leave you all with this. Your authentic self isn't some perfect version of you that you need to become. She's already there, or he, because I know some of you are joining that are male. Underneath all the layers of conditioning and expectations, he's been waiting patiently for you to remember who you are. She's been whispering to you in those quiet moments, in those dreams you're afraid to speak out loud, in that knowing that there's something more for you. Yep, mine did it all the time, and I was just like, shh. I was trying to shush her. You were not meant to live a small life. You were not meant to dim your light. You were not meant to be watered down, a watered down version of yourself or to make others feel comfortable. You were meant for more. And that more starts with having the courage to be authentically and unapologetically you. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one thing from today's episode and commit to it. So maybe it's the values audit. Maybe it's saying no to something that doesn't deserve you. Maybe it's just looking in the mirror and saying, I see you and you're enough. If you need to do that every single day to keep you aligned and focused, do it. I see you and you're enough. Write it down. Mirror every day. I see you and you're enough. Drop a comment below, of course, or in the chat, and tell me what mask you're ready to take off and what's one way you're going to show up more authentically this week. So just remember, your transformation starts now, because settling isn't an option when your soul knows that you were meant for more. Sound good? Okay, let's see what you guys got in our comments. Okay, Rico. Hey, Rico. How you doing, hon? Okay, we start living authentically when we start accepting who we are and not who people say who we are. Yes, Rico, absolutely. That's when we show up in our most authentic self, and we're vulnerable enough to say we matter. That's okay. It's not something that we should be hiding. We start living. Oh, is that the same? Yeah, that's the same. It came in twice. Thank you, Rico. I appreciate it. Okay, that's awesome. You guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate you showing up, for being here, for sticking around with me. We went over 6 minutes, and that's okay. If you're watching me on the show, watching me live, we're still here. So that's okay. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Hey, Rico. I look forward to seeing you all next week. You guys, leave me comments, share this episode if it brought value to you. Share it with somebody who needs this inspiration today, so that they can start living out their own purposeful life. I'm here for it. I'm excited for it. And as always, I always forget to share with you guys the Meant for More. It's okay. You can always go to francinayala.com/meant for more. And to book some time with me, if you want to dive deeper into learning more about how you can step into your own power and purpose. So I'm going to drop it really quick here so that it stays on the video. And let me drop it in really quick. There we go. So you're going to say francinayala.com/meant for more. So we'll hop on a call, see if there's alignment in a coaching opportunity. And I'm here for you. If you have any questions, you guys can reach me online, social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, you name it. And you can reach out to me there, and let's have a conversation. Okay. So make sure you're staying blessed. You're going out there and loving yourself every single day, and you're showing love to other people, because you were truly meant for more. This life of yours is going to excel and bloom beautifully, and I can't wait to see it and cheer you on along the way. So I'll see you next week. Let me know what your thoughts are and what you want to see on the next show. I'm here for it, and have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye.
I want to get to know what you do, what inspires you, what you enjoy.
My ability to lead really impacts women on a larger level, because not every woman has the same story or the same journey. So understanding where they've come from and where they want to go helps me be the leader that I can, so that I can show up in a space of authenticity for them.